Welcome to today's video. Today's question comes from Levi. Levi said, Sunny, you may have addressed this in a previous video, but I was wondering about the aspect of keeping your eyes open or closed during meditation and or self-inquiry. What do you see are the pros and cons of each? I noticed you generally close your eyes a lot, so I was wondering if that was just a preference or something you recommended. Or is it something that will depend on the individual? And if so, how would we determine which option might be most helpful for us? So this is a very important question. I'm glad you brought it up, Levi. Should we meditate with our eyes open or closed? So one of the important things to see is to even wonder, why are you asked to sit down and meditate? Notice that when you sit down and meditate, in those moments, you're allowing yourself to withdraw from the world. You're allowing yourself to withdraw from the concerns about me and my life. So when you sit down and meditate and you close your eyes, what's happening here? Notice how you are withdrawing from the sense perceptions. There is no world apart from the sense perceptions. Have you ever taken a moment to notice that? Does the world exist outside of the sense perceptions? Let's say if we were to take away all of your sense perceptions, would there be any world for you? So it's very important to notice that everything that you're constantly thinking about, even the person that you take yourself to be, is largely made up of just sense perceptions. Of course, we can say there's a subtler element to the person, such as thoughts and sensations, which are not in the realm of sense perceptions, but definitely what we call as the outside world is nothing other than sense perceptions. So when you sit down and close your eyes, you are withdrawing from the sense perceptions. The moment you close your eyes, which is one of the main sense perceptions that the mind is constantly jumping on. Whatever your eyes are seeing, the mind is interpreting, judging, labeling, describing. That is half of the mind's restlessness. So when you close the eyes, automatically there's no more new input coming in. You may be hearing some sounds, but the mind that's not such juicy information for the mind. And this is why sometimes it's even beneficial to maybe put a meditation track like the theta waves that I usually recommend. You can put that in your headphones. Because although that is a sound, it's just sort of like a neutral sound. It's like a straight sound with no ups and downs, no melodies, no words. So what it really does, it helps to even drown out the hearing in a way. Because there's no like stimulus. It's just a constant wave. So you have taken out the sight, you have taken out the hearing, and usually when you're sitting down and meditating, because you're bodily still, you're not really touching anything, feeling anything. Because you're not eating, you're not tasting anything. So your taste is idle as well. And your smell is also neutral. So you have withdrawn from the sense perception world. You're not gaining any more input from the sense perception world. The mind has less to hop onto. The mind has less data to talk about. So now what you come to after you have withdrawn from the sense perception world, close your eyes, every other sense is sort of idle. Now you will just notice the sensations of the body. You will notice maybe any emotion that is present, which is also just a sensation. And you will notice thoughts, images, words. That's really all thoughts are, either images or words, language. So in meditation, we say even turn away from this, right? So that's for a different conversation. But notice that because the mind has much less data being inputted from the senses, now it'll just start replaying the old stuff. Working with whatever is already coming up from before is much easier than constantly having new input, which distracts the mind. So in the beginning, I would recommend to everybody, sit down and close your eyes and just sit by yourself twice per day for 20 minutes each, where you withdraw from the senses, because then you only have the mind to work with, and the practice will become easier for you. Now, even for a person who has been doing this for a while, I will still have the same advice. At least twice per day. Have this like your foundational ritual practice, where every day you withdraw from the senses for some time. Maybe 20 minutes twice per day. Because what you'll come to find, and this is a very important part of this that you have to understand, is that as you begin to grow in your practice away from the senses, that will automatically translate into your practice when the senses are once again activated. What I see people do in spiritual communities and non-dual circles is that they don't even know it, but they are addicted to content. They are addicted to stimulation. They are addicted to sense perceptions. And although the teaching keeps telling them, hey, be silent, they keep on arguing on behalf of the mind, saying, I don't need the silence. I can do it with my eyes open. I can do it while I'm working. I'll do it when I'm walking. They refuse to just turn away. You're not being asked to turn away for the whole day. No, this doesn't mean that you have to sit on the couch and become totally idle or go off into the mountains and renounce your personal life. No. But you do have to have a foundational practice of silence where you withdraw from everything, where you cease to be the person, where you cease to care about anything personal. Even thoughts of me and my life are deemed unimportant in that moment of practice. Because as you grow in that absence of person, absence of sense perception, absence of thought, that will naturally translate into your daily practice as well when you are working, when you are out and about, when you are in the midst of conversations, when you are listening to a video. But oftentimes, if you neglect the total withdrawal from sense perceptions, sensations, and thoughts, then that becomes very difficult for you. Then those are the same people who ask, how do I practice this during my day also? I always say, hey, at least first start to gain this clarity away from the world, because then only will you have the capacity and the space to be able to practice it in the midst of the world, in the midst of all of this changeful, hectic experience. So it is not just my preference to meditate with my eyes closed. I will recommend it to anybody and share to them that it should be a component of your practice where you withdraw from everything. But then this makes your practice when the eyes are open, the ears are hearing, when you are in the midst of the sense perceptions, it makes practice possible there. So this is what I call an integration of the inner practice where you withdraw from everything, and the outer practice when you are in the midst of everything. You can't run away from either side. If you try to think that it's only, I just got to meditate on my couch and screw the world, it's not going to work. If you think like, I don't need to sit down, I'm only going to meditate at work or this or that, it's not going to work. You should integrate both. You shouldn't resist either. Don't resist the emptiness, the absence of content, and don't resist everythingness, the full expression of the emptiness. I hope that helped you. Now, if you want to get more help and support with this, I'm giving away a few resources right now. Number one is my self-inquiry guide. It is a PDF document that will really help you deepen your practice. I'll link that down below. Along with that, you can join our lovely support group where you can ask questions like this, interact with our community, and get feedback. And I also pick questions from there every week to answer in these videos. Now, if you want more support and you want more of a structured guideline of practice and you want to work with me and my community, then learn more about my School of Awakening, which goes more in depth and gives you a lot more support. Over there, we do weekly Q&A discussions, and we meet for meetings and guided meditations, and we have an amazing community over there. So take a look at that if that interests you. I'll link everything down below. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you're new here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.